Theo here from Refined Canine Dog Trading. Today, as you can tell from the title, we're going to be talking about prong collars and specifically how to size them and fit them appropriately for your dog. The first type of prong collar that we're going to be talking about today is the Kimberland collar. So Kimberland collars are great. They're made here in the US and they're specifically designed for small dogs. So a lot of the times when you're working with a prong collar, the Herman Springer is the other collar we're going to talk about, but the 2.5 is the smallest that you're going to be able to get in their company. So I love these collars. We're going to talk about them in a second, but if you have a dog's really small like this guy, these are the collars that Kimberland collars are the ones that you're going to want to use. So this first one that I'm going to show you is the original Duro micro prong. So essentially, or it's just called the original micro prong. This original micro prong is a lot like a Herman Springer. It has the swivel here. It has all of your links like this, and it has the two change. It's very similar, okay? So what I am going to do is I'm going to fit this to this little dog so you can see what it's supposed to look like and how it's supposed to fit. So I come around the dog's neck. I always want my dead ring, which what we call a dead ring, is this, just the circle here to be on the inside of the dog's neck. And to just kind of show that to you a little bit more clearly, the swivel should be facing down towards the ground, just like that, okay? So I'm going to put that dead ring in towards my dog and then come around. My fit should be right up under the chin and right behind the ears. It should fit a little snug, but not tight and digging in so you can't move it at all. Really, there shouldn't be a ton of pressure on the dog's neck when this is just sitting there, okay? So here I have it fitted. I'm gonna rotate it a little bit because I want most of the prongs to be sitting on the back and a little bit on the neck here. And I also want to be able to attach my leash to the swivel piece here. So the swivel piece is something that I'll show you up a little bit closer as well. And I want to take my leash and just give you an idea of what that looks like. Because it's important, guys. There's a couple different types of these Kimberland collars. Some have the swivel ring and some don't. I prefer it personally, just because if you see here, I can move my leash freely. And if you see this move, it means that my leash isn't gonna get tangled or stuck as easily, okay? So also when I'm giving, maybe I'm giving a correction or putting a little pressure on this collar, you can see that it has nice fluidity, right? It kind of gets tight and then it relaxes nicely, which is how a correction is supposed to be administered. They should have some really good movement in the collar. The next one is the Ultra Micro Prong. Now this one is super tiny. I mean, if you have a teacup Chihuahua, this is your collar. So tiny, it just barely fits on my wrist, okay? And if you see, this one only has 2 dead rings, that's fine. It's all you're really gonna need for a dog that small. So you can still get that same action out of the collar, but it's just super little. The next one is the Duro micro prong that Kimberland collar makes. And it's just the same as the original, except for it has 2 dead rings. If that's your preference, great. Some people are using these for show dogs, some people are training different things with them. No problem, there is an option for you with that. There's another collar that they make, which is a quick release prong collar. Personally, I don't love quick release prong collars. In my experience working with pet owners, they have a tendency to get caught up in whatever extra stuff they're putting on their leash, whether it's a poop bag holder or another handle or something reflective. If that happens sometimes, and I'll insert a picture of a quick release prong collar, what can happen is that it can pop off. Regardless, you're always going to want to have a safety net for using a prong collar because, which is just a simple slip collar. Not a lot to this collar. It's just a nylon, something that you can order on Amazon or pick up in your local pet store. It usually is not, this is obviously a little too large for this dog in particular, but let's say that was the size of my dog's neck here. I always want to slip this over the dog's neck, and it should be able to tighten like that just a little bit, but not have quite this much. So usually it would look a little bit like that on my dog. Now the purpose of this collar is to be able to attach this and the prong collar together. And the important part about that is that if your prong collar does pop off for some reason, It happens to the best of us, even if we forget to kind of just fasten it just right. You still have your dog. Your dog is not lunging and gone from you. This is your safety net, so I always encourage you using these. I'm gonna show what that looks like here in just a second. So again, fitting my prong collar, I'm going back to using this original micro prong, the Duro. I am going to bring this around the dog's neck and give you an idea of what the fit should look like here. And again, really important to have it up under the chin. Just swivel it back here so you can see where we were at before. Okay, there is my really good fit, as well as my swivel ring. So I'm gonna take my safety slip collar, and I'm going to attach both of these to my leash at the same time. Okay, oops. I'm gonna try to do this without stumbling too much. There we go. So here, if you can see, I have two collars, right? If I'm using my leash, I'm only really connecting to the prong collar. The prong collar is feeling what I'm doing on the leash. By having some slack in this black one, this extra leash here, this extra collar here, then what I'm getting is just a safety net. Again, not any pressure around the trachea, nothing like that. That's the other thing, guys. A lot of people talk about prong collars and either love them or they hate them. And this video is just to show you how they're fitting. But one thing that should be noted is that the prong collar is designed to evenly distribute pressure around the dog's neck. So if there's too much pressure on the trachea, say from a flat collar or a choke collar or a martingale collar, sometimes a prong collar is a better option for you and that dog. I always suggest talking with a behaviorist or a trainer first who is comfortable using these, has experience using them to help you and your dog. But if something that you're looking to get into, this is a collar that could help you if you do have a dog that pulls or lunges. I always tell people to acclimate the dog to them without being in front of another animal or whatever they're reacting to first, so they can understand that the collar is coming from you and you've trained it before you've added in the stressor, you've added the thing that the dog's afraid of, just so that collar has more connection to you and they understand that it is coming from you. Really important tip there. I'll do another video at some point about how to introduce a prong collar and how to use one, but today we're just gonna stick to the fits. And when I say action and play, what that means is that it's active. The collar does tighten and it loosens as well. So if I put pressure and then I relax it, it relaxes too. That's the whole point of these collars, guys. They're not supposed to dig in and they're not supposed to have consistent pressure. The next one I'm gonna show you is the Herman Springer collar. Just a little bit larger, very similar. Here's your average Herman Springer collar. This one is fitted for my German Shepherd, so you see quite a bit larger. All right, so one thing I do love about the Herman Springer collar is that it does have it has this distributor in the middle here. So you're gonna see that prongs come from both sides and not just one, okay? That's great for a larger, thicker coated dog, especially. So really similar to the little Kimberlin collars is that we've got the dead ring on the inside and the swivel, which I've left just my plastic tag on where the swivel is, so you can see that a little bit better. Again, I'll show you some close-ups of these. And that is, here's another thing. We want to make sure you guys can open and close these as well. So I'm also going to show you up close what it looks like to actually close and shut this. Okay, so one quick thing to note is that a prong collar should never be able to slip over the head of a dog. If that's the case, it's on too loose. Sometimes the prongs will flip over. That also means that it's too loose. So I always want to take my collar, allow it to kind of droop down, and find that dead ring. That's going to be on the inside of the dog's neck, and as the swivel wing's going to be on the outside of the dog's neck. So I hold it like this, make sure to find right under my dog's chin right here and right behind the ears. And by the way, you can open it from any of the prongs. I find it a lot more difficult to open it from the center plate, so I would just pick any of the others along the way. And then again, hold it down, make sure nothing's tangled or twisted. That way I know that it's gonna work really well. Put it on, clasp that. So if you see, I'm gonna do a little swivel here. You notice my dog's coat is pretty thick, and if you come over to this side, you'll be able to see here. Good. That's where I'm gonna attach my collar. Now, again, this is the safety collar that's gonna go over and sit just below the prong, just like that, right there. So when I'm attaching both of those, I'm gonna take my leash and I'm gonna find both of the, okay, connectors here for each collar and attach them together just like that. To show you why this collar is so important, this extra safety collar, is let's say I didn't put on my prong appropriately and I go to walk and I go to pull my leash and that prong collar has popped off. I've still got my dog, right? So that's really good for just in case. We always recommend those. Again, I'm trying to keep you guys and steer you guys away from the quick release. I don't love them, but if you are arthritic, you do have any pain in your hands, it could be a good alternative option. Just make sure that you definitely use a backup collar. Just going back to the Kimberly collars, they do have, I believe, 4 different designs. I'll make sure to put the link in the description so you can check them out. So yeah, if you guys do have a small dog, they're a great option. The Herman Springer is also a good option for a larger dog. I also like to use this 2.5 millimeter lightweight prong collar on larger dogs. I will use this on a dog that weighs up to 100 pounds. Sometimes, depending on the owner, if they like a little bit more weight to their collar or if the dog needs it, then I might use a size up. But I just add extra links. And that's the other thing about these Kimberlin collars too, guys, is that they have they're added as well. So you can add them as well. So if this is just a little bit too small, you can get some extra links for them and you can size up and down appropriately for your dog. By the way, this video is not sponsored. I really just wanted to highlight this company because I really do appreciate them and I like what they're doing. I like that they're made in America, and I like that if I have a problem with a collar, you can always send it back. They'll fix it for you, which is really great too. That's it for today, guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. We'll do our best to get back to everybody about those. Please remember, prong collars are not for every dog. We totally understand that and respect that. But if you are somebody who's looking to have a prong collar, we just want you to see how it's properly fitted, okay? And we will also talk later about the proper use of them as well. We want everybody to be safe and every dog to be safe. So hopefully that is the message that we're sending you guys. Feel free to check out the links that I'm going to put down below too, to Kimberlin collars and Herman Springer collars, okay? Thanks so much. Have a great day. We'll see you later.